So now if you are newly married and you are going out and you have whole friends and you're constantly going out with your whole friends because they are your whole friends that's been there forever, so you have some type of loyalty to them or a level of loyalty to them, it is detrimental to your marriage. Maybe that might not be who you are, but you're going to be engaging in different things. And a lot of those times when you're talking about going out with your whole friends, you're never in a place of safety. You're never in a place of where you can thrive and become better. It's usually something that is an open-ended variable of possible drama and possible chaos. You out at 2 o'clock in the morning, God forbid, even if you were safe, that's when it's an issue because you're leaving constant room and chance for the worst to happen. Now, the craziest thing is, it's like the issue that I think men have when a girl has whole friends is it's never, hey, let's go out to lunch. It's always, let's go out to the club. I don't care if you go out with your whole friends to Starbucks. I don't think he's really worried too much about that. But it's like, okay, why do you have to go to, Barcode Lobby? You know what I'm saying? Those of you that don't know, those are New Jersey clubs, right? Why do you have to go out to something that is going to always be some type of crazy event? And that's where the issue becomes. Now, to answer your question of where you find friends, right? Where you find
You about
friends
to
is
try to
very
read
simple.
us.
Like, cause
No, no,
I
no.
lived, I lived,
I want you as a married person to
yeah. Well,
tell people where
I'm
to find
telling
their
you where to
friends.
find friends regardless, right? Because I lived in different states. I lived in Miami by
Same,
myself. I lived
same,
in California
same.
by myself, and I lived in Pennsylvania by myself, right? So majority of my 20s, I lived in 4 different states.
More.
So so when I go out to these places, right, I always found friends doing whatever I'm doing. So if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to better yourself, you're gonna find people there that you're going to relate to. So let me just give you an example. If you're going to the gym and you frequently go to the gym 1 to 5 times or 2 to 5 times a week, right?
Two shaky. Let's do three.
3, right? I'm just saying 2 for making effort for people,
Two is shaky.
right?
I mean,
Because a lot of girls, and I'm not a girl, but a lot of girls say going to a gym in general is intimidating or uncomfortable. So if you move to a whole different place, God, you know what I'm saying, forbid, whatever, it might be really uncomfortable. But anyways, if you're going and you're working out and you're at the places where you're doing things that's going to be bettering yourself, you're going to be able to align with other people who have similar goals. And those are people that are more likely than not you can share some type of bond with. Now, I'm not saying that she's not a hoe outside of gym, but what I'm saying is that's a friend that you can talk to, that you can actually meet and kind of steer away from other people and other things, because we all have friends who do nothing but put us in chaotic situations or put us in chaotic situations.
Agreed. But one
But
thing can I go ahead?
no,
You
no.
go. One thing that I can say though, like I don't want you to like if you know me, if you know that I'm always because I don't think that people hang out with their friends every week, like every other day. You know what I'm saying? I think that okay, for example, me, you guys are bringing up a situation that I actually can speak on because I've dealt with it and am. I have a lot of friends who are, like those kind of outside have fun type of girls, but at the same
Are they
time,
whores or they just
no,
like to
not
hang
whores,
out?
but no, not
Are you being
whores.
honest?
I was just
I'm
about to
being
say, I think we
honest.
should
Sometimes
switch
you
that
can be
word.
hoes.
No, no,
My
no.
friends can do whole shit, but that's not that. Who gives a fuck?
No, but that's what I'm asking because I think like just being outside and hanging out is different
Nobody's
from being
getting
a
any dick after the
whore.
club, before the club, between
I
the
think
club.
that we
Nobody's
should
getting any.
remove that word they're not altogether. whores.
No, but
But
the
that's what the
intimidation is coming from you being around women that are like getting attention,
No,
basically.
no. He's saying horse.
no, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like
who
I
are
think
y'all?
that
The prompt
said horse,
That
hose.
means that means they're outside and they're fucking.
They're
They're not.
promoting bad behavior. I'm sorry, Jada. So
I was just about to say, I think that we're not talking about friends that are literally hoes or whores. I think we're just talking about single friends and
But
their
men are gonna
behavior.
assume- right? But when you know that
Not
person's
whores.
friends, when you know that
no, he may feel they're whores, but
But
They
when
might
you
be.
know
Quote,
that
unquote.
person's friends
I'm
from
so
the
confused.
if you know your woman's friends before you marry her and that's a concern, that needs to be nipped in the butt right then and there. Because if you trust my character and you marry me and you know that you can trust me, then that shouldn't be a problem when I hang out with my friends. I don't care who another woman is. I operate how I want to operate when I want to operate. And that's just that. Nobody is going to force me to talk to a man. I'm a grown ass woman. Nobody's going to force me to go and do anything with another man. Nobody's going to force me to do anything. If I want to go out and have shots and turn up, that is my prerogative. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, but
It
say
doesn't matter.
say for example, you have a friend, Karen.
I get
and-
both sides, trust me.
No, yeah, but Karen, you know,
Keisha.
Keisha, right? Sorry, I'm thinking about my cousin Karen. She's wild as fuck. But Keisha, say you go out with your friend Keisha, and your husband or your boyfriend at the time just knows that whenever you and Keisha go out, you come back with the
Trouble.
craziest stories.
Mhm.
Yeah, Keisha is just a wild time.
Mhm.
He's gonna feel like you guys are married now. Okay, y'all, your nights with Keisha needs to come to a
And
minimum.
I agree with that. Now everybody just needs to have that understanding in that conversation and just needs to be respected. That's it. Talk to Keisha and be like, bitch, you getting me in trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
Come to the house and chit chat
Yeah,
with him and let's hang
I is
out.
married now.
Like-
like, I can't be coming outside with you.
And I agree with that as well, you know, because I'm trying to think of from a woman's perspective as well. I don't want my man going out with the crazy nigga that always got them in a shootout, like, or some crazy stuff.
But if he married a follower, that's his
He know who he
problem.
married.
He exactly. He know he only has to worry about the characteristics of the woman that he married, not the woman around her. Because
Okay,
What-
yeah, she's a follower, but does she have sense? I think that's
exactly.
I think that's the difference. It's like, okay, yeah, she may be a follower. She may not have one of the strongest personalities in the group or whatever. But I mean, can she operate as an adult? Does she have sense? I think that's the real question.
I think
I
today
think-
though.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Jade. No, I think what happens is there are people that are very easily influenced,
That's what I
right?
was-
And live very much in the moment and don't necessarily map out consequences. I know you're thinking like, oh no, that's not true. But
No, I believe it. I mean,
No,
but
right.
that's a red flag in general.
right, because then what happens is in the moment you made that mistake, and then tomorrow morning you're crying on my shoulder and you're saying, I'm sorry, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I drank too much, yada, yada, yada.
Mm.
And I think often that sometimes some men might struggle with knowing the character of the person that they're with, and they love them, right? They still love them, but knowing that and how easily influenced the person might be,
Mm.
that they try to be proactive and be like, I need you to stop hanging with Keisha because Keisha's no good.
Seeing as that we're women, Rico, have you been with a follower woman who has been like this?
No. But I realized that first and foremost, I think that it's not just so much about following whomever it is, men or women. I think a lot of the times the issue is that somebody is usually in control of a situation to some degree. So if it's, your plan to go out and Amanda's with you and you're the driver,
Mhm.
which this has happened to me, right? Where my girl is out with her friend and she's the driver, whatever, and they're at a place where she doesn't know. And then the driver disappears. And now, you know what I'm saying, Amanda or you're left here trying to figure it out, calling me, right?
That's not applicable these days. Like
That's-
that,
No, no,
maybe
this-
15 years
that-
ago.
that
Yeah, that's a childish. That's childish.
But so like, but what I'm saying is
we getting home.
now,
Uber.
yeah, no, you can Uber, but the point is like sometimes people don't just hop in the Uber and go. They'll be like, well, let me see where my friend is at. It could be early.
freestyling.
It could be early. It could be
Parking lot.
12 o'clock where you're not even thinking like, all right, well, listen, I don't know where I'm at, but I do know a couple people here. I do see some familiar faces. I don't feel threatened. I don't think it's a threatening environment. But yet, next thing you know, it's like when that point in time comes, maybe she disappeared at 11 o'clock and now it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. You're ready to go home. You can't find her. And now you're calling your man. And it's like, well, damn, now I'm inconvenienced. My energy is disturbed. I'm at home or wherever. And I'm trying to figure out, make sure my wife is good. And it's all because not you weren't a follower. Y'all had a plan. And your friend who is single was just inconsiderate of you and us as in our relationship. So I think that's what happens. And when that happens one time, I don't want you chilling with her no more
I understand
at
that.
all, because you put her safety at risk. Two, it might not be a big deal to you or her, but it's a big deal to me because I'm the person now. I gotta be worried and or try to find and solve a problem that I should not have anything to do with.
Yeah.
You wanted to be an adult, but adults make mistakes. Adults end up in terrible positions, and not all the time is from a bad sense of judgment. Sometimes things just happen, and then when it happens, you just have to figure it out in that moment. and that's the worst position to be in on the other side of the phone while it's happening.
It is
Right.
totally fine to have a conversation with your partner to say, hey, look, I do not feel comfortable
Mhm.
with you coming in. Regardless of what you're doing, you could be a Bible study. You could be you could be eating pickles or what. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I just don't feel comfortable with it because it makes me feel whatever. And I think that's fine. But I do think that you have to deal with what is on the other side. They may be like, I'm literally doing nothing.
Right. And
So
that's
why
what's annoying.
can't I come home at a time where I'm sober, a time where I can drive myself home,
Taking care of
a
responsibilities.
time where I can do whatever I'm doing? Why can't I? So I think you have when you bring that conversation up, you have to be able to deal with what is on the other side. I'm not saying that one way is right or wrong, but I do think a spouse and girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't know about that. But a spouse should be able to bring that conversation up and say, I don't feel comfortable with that.
But I think that's the issue. And that's the problem. We get into this boyfriend, girlfriend, okay, they don't have that leeway. But then we get into the whole, well, if you knew how she was before you married her, why didn't you check it at the door? And it's like, okay, well, then it's contradictful. So no matter where you're at in your relationship, if it's going to be a serious relationship, the boundaries have to be set now, not when
Yeah.
you're married. The barrier doesn't, because if it takes us 5 years to get married and I let you slide for 5 years, you're going to be like, well, why are you changing?
Yeah,
'Cause
and
we were
all of a
married.
sudden you
And
got
then
a
it's like, well,
problem.
no, the problem is if something that you don't like is persisting and it's happening or is persistent and it keeps on happening, you need to stop it immediately, no matter what point.
Stop or
Like,
ha-
just
or,
nip-
or voice your objection.
No, you have to stop it because if it doesn't work for you, either you need to leave
Exactly.
or it has to stop.
So
but
you
either
voice your
way, you're going
objection.
to either way you're stopping the experience of or the feeling
Something
of this
has to
experience.
stop.
So then
Either
you-
the
that-
relationship or the behavior.
Guys, that's voicing an objection.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the other person to
To
say, you know
decide.
what? Thank you.
Well, it
Thank
don't matter.
you.
Like
No, that's why I said something has to stop.
Because what you're not gonna tell a single grown adult is you not finna do this, right?
Thank you.
I think as a spouse you may have more influence
I'd say it.
to take that position, but as a non-married person,
Mhm.
I think that you should voice your concern. I do agree with you on that. You absolutely should check it, but I think that they be like, well, my friend, I'm single until I'm married. So maybe this ain't gonna work.
Well, I mean, that's never happened to me or anybody that I know. So
Thank you,
I would
Aaron.
say,
You
I would
deserve
say
a round of applause
person-
for that.
I mean,
personally-
I believe
That's
single
true.
till married.
I feel like anybody in a serious relationship, that's not really going to be their response to someone voicing their
Thank
I'm
you.
single till I'm married.
No,
It's
that wasn't my
Wow.
response. That wasn't my response. What I'm saying is that I feel like you can voice your concern over something, but if you're like, that person can be like, okay, cool, I'm not cool with that, and you can go take your concerns somewhere else. And to Rico's point, that's what you do. You check it, and if they not with the check,
Move
then
on.
they can move on. What I'm saying is that when there's to have an effect, what has to be there first? A cause, right?
Oh yeah.
I was
no.
like,
Right?
what's the other one?
So you need cause to have an effect, right? We all agree on that. So if you come to me saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this, you also have to deal with the effect of what's on the other side. Because I'm not just gonna say, oh, okay, I'm gonna stay home and not do anything. You have to understand that someone's gonna say, okay, cool. Well, you may not be cool with 5 a.m. I'll come home at 4. And I only do it 3 times a month.
I don't know where these
Versus
women exist.
just wait. Versus
Like-
5 a.m. and me doing it 5 or 6 times a month. You know what I'm saying? I think you have to just understand that they're not just gonna be like, okay, daddy,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do what the fuck you tell me to do. It's not gonna be like that. You have to understand there's another individual on the other side, and they're gonna have a different opinion about what you're saying. That's all I said. There's no shame in that.
If they have a different
Yeah,
opinion.
exactly. And that's the problem that I think that happens. There's not always a debate on boundaries. And I think
Y'all know I'm talking about Aaron Campbell.
I was about to say, I feel like you really put in your
Personal.
own
We only-
personality.
We is me, and we only
Yeah.
talk about Aaron Campbell.
all right, well, cool. So now
I know that was a lot of Aaron Campbell in there.
we is me. have to also think about the world and a lot of other people that are asking us this question.
I don't know them.
And I think that the issue that we have is that we sit here and we put our own way of methods of doing things, and we say that this is how you should do it. Now, a lot of times, no, it doesn't even happen like that. If I say to my girl, listen, coming home at 5 o'clock is not going to work for me. So the latest, she might ask me, okay, well, what is a respectable time? That's the only conversation. But it's not going to be, no, it's not. No, it's not what she said. What she said is, I won't come home at 5, but I'll come home at 4. And that's not.
That seems a little spiteful.
And exactly. And at the
Not a little.
seems
That is
considerate.
That is spiteful.
And
It seems considerate to me.
Hold on. And what I'm saying is that's not the reality. A lot of times what happens is a man or woman feels shamed to even say what they're going to do or what they want out this relationship, right? So now if I say, hey, if I'm scared to say, yo, I don't want you coming home at 5 o'clock, he might have a girl like Aaron in his girl's ear that she watches that goes, well, if he tries to check me and tell me what I'm going to do, I'm not going to say 5, I'm going to say 4. And I'm going to ask, why can't I? Some things don't require a why. It's just that this does not work for me. And you know it doesn't work for me. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you that it doesn't work for me. Now, does this work for us? Right? And I think that that's the real conversation that should be had. It should never be a tug of war. It should never be a ego trip because you have a preference. We are married or we are planning to get married or working toward marriage. My preference is my preference. Don't come home at 5 to me is disrespectful.
Then it has to go
I
your
don't need
way,
to-
all the way.
No, because
That's what it sounds like.
no, it's not my way. It's just that, hey, okay, cool. The proper response would be, all right, well, what
What can we
is a
do?
respectable time for you? It's not the, okay, Aaron had one extreme or the other. Oh, I'm not going to just not go anywhere and stay
Rico,
home.
you
Hold
said
on.
5. I said, cool. Nigga, you don't like 5? We'll do 4.
But that's
And
what
then
I'm
if you
saying.
say, okay, 4 doesn't work. Like, I
But
feel
why
like
is it-
me
but why-
going back on the time is like a consideration
Why
of
not
you.
have a conversation is the point I'm saying. Why not say, well, what time?
So why don't you say that? You're the one with the problem, so you should come with the suggestion.
Okay,
and
well,
not just.
I feel like
no,
this-
wait, and not
okay.
just the complaint. Because if you're saying, "Hey, Aaron, 5 doesn't work for me," okay, I say 4. Cool. Not a problem in my mind. So, but if you have a specific time in mind, that's up to you to voice that. You're like, Aaron, I don't want you home at 5. I want you home at 11:30. And I'm like, oh, well, 11:30 is a little early, and then we can go from there. But at the end of the day, I didn't say no to your not coming home at 5. I said, cool, I can get with that. I will come home at 4.
And that's the issue.
I feel like that's if the conversation is very specific. I feel like if someone comes to you and says more specifically, I don't like how late you come home.
And that's a different word.
And
Right.
Oppose you with.
Thank
Yeah. As opposed to, I don't want you coming home at 5 a.m. Because, yeah, then we have people like Aaron that says, okay, I'm going to come home at 4.
Usually don't work for them.
Right.
I
So
don't
it's
have
just
any
like,
control
okay,
over
well,
things
coming
sometimes,
in at the
so-
wee hours of the morning is just, that should be a no. I feel like more specifically, that's what needs to be said so we don't get that kind of response. But going back to cause and effect, I feel like the spitefulness of it and how you respond to someone telling you anything like that depends on your delivery. Now, Erin set it up real nice, and she says, you know, you come, you have a conversation, and you say, I don't know how you said it, but she said it real nice. I don't like how late you've been coming home. I think that you should start coming home a little earlier. We're married. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with it. You said something a little different that kind of was like, I don't know how I would respond to that. Like, you said, you coming home at 5 a.m. isn't going to work for me. And I feel like I don't know how I'm going to respond to something
Well,
like
first of all,
that.
Aaron didn't say it like that. That's one.
Yes, I did.
I think she did. She said it nice.
You know what they say when you say I think, that means you don't know. So, but it does not even matter. See, the thing is, me saying, hey, 5 o'clock a.m. is not going to work for me is not me saying I'm controlling you. Me giving you your ulterior suggestion, 12 midnight is your cutoff time, or 12 midnight is the time that I want you home. If I say, hey, you're coming home too late, I want you coming home at 12, that's more controlling. But if we have a conversation about it, I'm open to hearing what you want and how we can find a middle ground. So if I say anything like, hey, look, this time does not work for me, I believe the way my household has been running and always has ran is, well, what do you think will be a respectable time? And I'll be like, well, maybe it's 2. Or they might suggest it. Hey, well, is 2 o'clock fine? Are you comfortable with 2 o'clock? And it's yes or no.
I
But
suggested a time though.
you suggested 1 hour at 4 a.m. Like, that sounds
It's
stupid.
not that deep.
Like, yo, but it's
taking
it's
it
just,
too serious.
but
Like
I'm
I literally
it's just-
suggested a time.
It's just a conversation starter in a way. It doesn't.
But
have
I'm
to
just
be,
saying,
I'm gonna
no.
Step in the door at
First of all,
3:59.
we're not going.
Not before yet. Like it's not that deep.
But
Like,
to be really, really specific, one thing that was missed is that it's not all the time what time you're coming home. It's who you were with and where did you go. If you were at your mother's house, if you were at your sister's house, if you was at your cousin's house till 4 o'clock in the morning, you came home at 5.
Were you having margaritas?
just
And
check.
I
in.
was
Why
drinking.
everybody
No,
keep
no, no,
texting?
no. I think it's a different, you know.
It's not different. It don't matter if y'all was drinking or not. If you were at somebody's house who that person felt comfortable and trusting, 9 times out of 10, you coming home at 3, 4, maybe even 5 is a little bit crazy, but maybe even 5 might be acceptable depending on who it is. But if you got with your 4 friends,
Oh my god.
Single
Whore.
friends.
You're single.
You're-
No,
No, no, no.
they said
if
whore.
you're with your whore friends,
They said
and
whore.
you
That
come
was
home at 5
ridiculous.
o'clock, I already knew you was doing horse shit. Like this, look.
First of all,
First
the
of all, the
prompt
clubs
said
close at
hoe.
about 2 or
That's
3.
me
Bunch of horse
putting the
shit. Y'all
whore
remember that?
in there.
The people
And
call
I don't like it.
But I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. Like if you were dating a dude, right?
They said whore.
I can't take it. Like I just can't
Oh,
take it.
yeah.
It's so sad. It
Gir-
really is sad.
Girls
bro.
have a problem with
It's
guys
so
going on a
sad.
guys trip, right? And guys
No.
have a problem with
No,
girls
because
going
y'all
on
can't
girl
control
trips.
No.
yourselves.
I have zero problem.
What I wanted to say
didn't say
was that
Aaron.
I would like
Said
the
y'all. I said
I said
conversation.
girls.
To be honest, I would like the conversation.
No.
I would even be excited. I know
Yeah.
no one's listening to me. Y'all done?
Yelled
All right,
at.
Mandy.
All right.
Goddamn.
It's a lot of side conversation
up over
going
here.
on.
What were you saying, Amanda?
It's tight.
I was saying I would love the conversation. Like I would be excited. Like I'll go out with my friends and be like, "All right, y'all, I gotta go because my man don't like me outside. Like I gotta go home to my man." There's a lot of
man, my
girls
man,
that
my
would
man.
be.
I do the
Shut
same
up!
thing.
Wait, hold on.
No, but
Whatever it
There's
is.
a lot of girls that feel ashamed
Whoever
to
it
tell that to
is.
their girls.
Really?
No, I literally can holler to my bitches all night. Like, remember, I
Holler?
got a taller. Bitch, hold up. Like, it's just like sometimes things happen. Why does everything have to be that deep?